Well, Ulysses, affordable tickets will be coming back to the Trop, and a familiar face, a hometown kid, fails to get into the Hall of Fame again.
Yes, there's a lot to talk about. I think we're going to have some highs and lows on this episode, so let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. We are also accepting mailbag questions, lockedonrays@gmail.com to do that. All right, let's get right into it. There has been some dribs and drabs of Rays and baseball news lately. A lot to get to on this week's slate of episodes. But first wanted to start out with this. The Rays will again be offering something pretty cool, and that is this: $10 tickets to all games. They will be offering $10 tickets to all games. At least 1,000 of the $10 tickets will be available for each and every game, and sometimes many more than 1,000 will be available. As we know, the Rays experienced a surge in attendance by Rays standards from previous years. In 2023, they drew 17,781 fans, the most on average since 2014. Just for context purposes, 2022, they drew just 13,927. Also, within the news release and the update there, they are slightly moving back weeknight start times from 6:40 p.m. to 6:50 p.m. But I think the big thing is, again, trying to get more butts in the seats and trying to make the game of baseball accessible to all in some shape or fashion, or to as many people as possible. I mean, you can barely get into a high school football game for $10 nowadays.
No, I think it's a fantastic thing. During the weekend, I met a couple of dudes that just for the first time, and this story has a purpose, by the way. They're big football fans, huge. They're big Bucks fans. The subject of baseball came up, and both of them who are complete like baseball casuals. Like, I feel like if they can name 3 players, it would be a success.
Yeah.
They knew about the $10 tickets. They knew about the $10 tickets. This is a tremendous movement, marketing scheme that the Rays have come up with the $10 tickets. Honestly, it's not only good for the baseball casual who might be disappointed that the Bucks are doing what they're doing, even though it was a great win against the Panthers, but it's kind of more accessible to the families. Like, dude. Yeah. If you have a family of, like, let's say you have 2 kids, right? That's usually the deal with families, right? You got brother, sister, brother, whatever it is. That's a lot of money for one outing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So now you're giving $40 just to get in the door, dude. That is huge for a family.
Yeah. And the Rays are also looking to bring back what they call the ballpark pass, where they set monthly or annual fees for standing room access to all games. And beyond or besides the, just making games more affordable and accessible to all, it may just encourage those people that aren't really baseball fans, that are just looking to try something different. And lo and behold, they might enjoy the experience of a cheap date night, or just wanting to try a new activity. Hey, the weather's crappy outside, afternoon showers or whatever. Let me go to a ball game for $10. It's only $10 if you can find a way to scratch it. So just trying to maneuver and get new faces and new people exposed to the game, and maybe you build a long-term, lifelong fan from there.
That's such a cool way that you worded that. In the summer, we know how much it rains.
Mm-hmm.
Afternoon showers, everybody be like, "Oh, you can't have sports," but you can
Yeah.
in Tropicana Field. Oh, it's thundering. Hey, let's go to Tropicana Field.
Yes.
Hey, let's get in there. That I really liked how you worded that. No, it's fantastic. Now you said 1,000 per game, correct? That I got that right. 1,000
Yes,
per
they'll
game.
be offering at least 1,000 of the $10 tickets for each
Now
and every game.
I'm sure that if they're sold out, they might be saying, it's better to get butts in the seat than not, right? I mean,
Right.
because once you got them in, Bud Light's there, Budweiser and Coors, and
Yeah, you just upcharge. Hey, we're not talking about the cost of concessions here. I'm sure that's baked in, and they've got some formula and some
people get thirsty. People get hungry. Hey,
Yeah.
let me get a hot dog. Let me get a chicken tender basket. Buffalo.
$20.
Yeah, exactly for 28. But whatever. Like I love the $10 thing. And then you also talked about the ballpark pass, which I think was around like $280 last time, $270 for standing room only, correct? But they also have the pass where you actually do get to have like $500 in
Right.
in your account. And then you
Yeah,
can
there's a
just
lot of different options as well. I mean, they're definitely making an effort and doing everything they can to up the attendance. Which, speaking of that, so 17,781 this past year. Do you think that attendance will go up or down from that number in 2024?
Can I say 4 words?
Yes, you can say 4 words. Just don't make them all 4-letter words.
Wander Franco, Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah, and
you know
you
what?
might want to add Isaac Paredes and Randy Arozarena to the list.
Yeah, let's make
because
it 8.
based on some of the rumor mongering that we're hearing, there might not be a Randy Land in 2024.
Or
maybe in Seattle or Toronto, there may be a Randy Land, but maybe not in St. Petersburg.
We've talked about that. I think it's silly to even consider trading Randy right now. Not only because he's a tremendous player, but the fan favorite and the financial gain that we saw with our own eyes. That all of those people came there for Randy Land, and they expanded Randy Land to another section. So they can't tell us that it didn't work when we literally saw it expanded. I feel like the Randy rumors are just very unfounded. They're just trying to get some, they'll listen. Of course, it's the race. They'll listen, but
you got to listen to just about anybody and everybody. That's part of the gig there. So you, based on the 4 words that you mentioned, you think attendance is going to take a slight dive or dip from this past year?
It hinges on those. I think, obviously, I agree with your added names, but I think the top 2 names that it'll hinge on is Tyler Glasnow and Wander Franco. Is Wander Franco back? Was he, are we ever going to talk about him again as a Ray? Tyler Glasnow, is he gone? And then the pieces back, are they exciting pieces? Do they perform really well early? And then that gets people excited. I mean, I think those are the 2 names that'll see either an uptick or a downtick.
And you could even add, Shane McClanahan and other ancillary names to that list as well. Now, maybe working and washing some of that out is we now have a full season of the rules changes to speed the game up. Games are more action-packed, more exciting, and yet shorter. And that's a good thing at the end of the day. Average game was 2 hours and 42 minutes. So I think that resonates with people that, hey, I go to the game, I get in the game, I'm going to be out of there under 3 hours, and I can get home on a weeknight, weekend, whatever it may be. And I don't have to necessarily build my entire day or weekend around a baseball game. I can kind of, it's a good barometer there. The other thing too is that with the news of a stadium, forthcoming in St. Petersburg, I think there's some built-in and added equity and excitement that, okay, I can invest in this team going forward, and I'm not going to play boycott or something like that.
I think people could put their green Skittles on that and their hopes for sure. Yeah.
That's true. Speaking of that, we do want to mention this before moving along here. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right this very moment. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON, to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, they are the official partner of the NFL. So, Ulises, you expect that attendance will take a little bit of a slide. What's your number? What are you throwing out there? Average of 17,000 per game, 16,500, just under 17,000, 17,250. What are you playing with here?
I think Wander was a very big push.
He was a catalyst. I mean, he was on just about every billboard, and they had the whole bat giveaway. That's the other thing. Like, if you're going to be without Wander and Tyler Glass now, and maybe Randy and maybe Isak and Shane McClanahan, your promotional schedule. I mean, you might just want to have a promotional schedule where, like, we just hand a $100 bill to every person that comes to the turnstiles. Like, you're going to have to come up with some knockdown, exciting, and innovative, promo merchandise giveaways, because that's a lot of war. That's a lot of all-star. That's a lot of name brands that could be out of the equation.
I mean, this just means if all of those names that you mentioned, let's say that there's a fire sale, which is not going to happen, people. Don't freak out. But let's say in the hypothetical of the next 73 seconds, let's talk about this.
Maybe a burn sale, maybe not a fire sale, but a controlled burn sale. I don't know.
Come with me. Come with me. It's the fire, and then there's a bunch of flames. Okay. Glass now. Gone. Randy. Gone. Isak. Gone. Wander. Gone. That promotional thing, that just means that Brandon Lau's going to be featured, of course. And you know who else is going to be featured? Hey, Curtis Mead. Here's a bobblehead, dude.
Junior Caminero. Caminero bobblehead day.
Here you go. It's just going to be the young dudes. It's Siri. Hey, there's a Siri lightning bolt tattoo sticker for the kids. Like, that's basically it. You're opening up the door for me, the Jonathan Aranda wig, which I've given that to Race Baseball. I tweeted it out a couple years ago. You're welcome. I don't expect much. I don't expect credit, but we all know that I came up with that. Thank you, Race Baseball.
Yeah. Oh, we might just have to do an episode where we just ping pong back and forth marketing giveaways, because I've got some percolating in my brain right now. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that attendance will take a slight dip just because of all that. And again, look, it's great that the Rays had a 30% increase in attendance from the prior year, but at the end of the day, it still was 27th in all of baseball, just ahead of the Royals, Marlins, and A's. And I'm not even going to get into the wild card attendance thing either, but just throwing that out there.
Also, let's not forget that this team was unbeatable the 14 times they played at the Trop in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, they were incredible at the Trop. So that if you sweep the first 3 games, people are like, oh, let's go get them. 7-0. Hey, let's go see them. 10-0. Hey, let's go see them even more.
When you're leading off Sports Center and you're the Rays, like, that's going to build some pomp and circumstance.
Exactly. So that 30% increase, that 17,400 whatever it was average per game, that also is I hate this word. Buoyed.
Yeah.
Buoyed.
That's a good word. I like it.
It's buoyed by the great start that this team had. So it's not like you can just like count on that for next year, you know.
No, I don't think I mean, Yeah, the odds of the Rays or any team going 14-0, 13-0 out the gates are very few and far between for sure.
Right.
I have another question for you. Ulises, do you believe that Lou Piniella is a Hall of Famer? Should he be in the Hall of Fame?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
I think, there's with the Hall of Fame with managers, it's a little bit different than with players.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you have to be a little bit more into will people remember you? Will people talk about you? And I think it would be ridiculous to say that people are not going to remember Lou Piniella
Yeah.
as a manager.
It's funny because you talk about can you tell the story of baseball without this guy, that guy, the other guy? I find it hard to tell an enthralling story of Major League Baseball without Lou Piniella in it as a player
Exactly.
and as a manager. As we know, if you haven't heard already, Lou Piniella did miss out on the Hall of Fame by just one vote in the contemporary baseball era. The 16-member committee failed to vote him in, but they voted Jim Leland in, who, had, I would say, a very similar managerial career to Lou Piniella. I think it's kind of hard to discern both of those guys or kind of describe this guy is noteworthy, is a lot more deserving than the other guy. My feeling is if they're going to vote Jim Leland in, you have to vote in Lou Piniella in, vice versa. But to my point about telling the story of baseball with or without Lou Piniella, he provided a lot of memories. I think we can start with the Sweet Lou nickname and some of his tantrums and antics as a manager, and I think that's probably at the end of the day what maybe hurt him in the eyes of some of the voting populace. But even beyond that, just the fact that he did win a ring with the Cincinnati Reds, he was part of a turnaround with the Mariners and setting a record-tying 116 game winning season back in 2001. He's got 7 trips to the postseason. He's got the amount of wins. I mean, pretty much every other manager who has as many wins or slightly more than him are in the Hall of Fame. I just don't know what else he would have to do to get in this thing. And I think it probably goes back to the entertaining, if not maybe off-putting outburst that some believe that he put forth over the years.
Yeah, no, and there's no barometer. It's kind of like, hey, I think this guy's in. I don't think this guy's in. And there were 15 votes, so it makes it really difficult,
Yeah,
to get in through this. I don't know. I feel, with Lou Piniella, I grew up hearing my dad talk about Lou Piniella because of the whole thing when he came up to bat as a player, like, they started saying Lou, like, I think he was one of the first guys in Major League Baseball that was cheered that way.
Yeah.
Now you've heard it with Luke Scott and a bunch of other dudes that I'm blanking on right now. Ulises,
Yeah.
But I think it's Lou Piniella who started that. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, if Dusty Baker gets credit for inventing the high five, I think it's pretty cool that Lou Piniella should get recognition for being that way. But you talk about the Mariners, the 116. You talk about the ring with the Reds. I think it's also pretty cool that a guy from the Tampa Bay region got to manage his hometown team. And the way that he came to Tampa Bay in a very unique way, which is in a trade. When was the last time that you saw a manager be traded or be part of a trade? Like, that's really cool. So I feel like, I hope he gets in next time. I see a lot of people on the Twitter sphere or the X sphere, saying that he should be in. I feel like people do feel like that. So just give it time. But the problem is, how much time does he have? Because this whole Mortem inducting people in the Hall of Fame, I just feel like that's a little bit of a slap on the face, honestly.
Yeah, and I know, I mean, his health issues and health scares have been very publicly documented. So you would just think that if he's going to get in the Hall of Fame, that it happens when his heart is still ticking, for lack of a better term there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know what? It's funny. I read up on Lou Piniella a little bit, and we the outburst and the ejections. I mean, 64 ejections his career as a manager. The cap kicking, the base tossing, the getting in the face of the umpires. I read somewhere, I don't know how true or accurate this is, but you know, working for some ownership groups, there might have been a little bit of a directive and designation of, hey, ham it up a little bit. If you're going to get ejected, if you're going to get upset, do something that's going to put your name and put our team in the newspaper and on television and on the highlight or low light reel. Yes, it is sport, but it's also entertainment as well. And that's the other thing too. Like, he had to work for some difficult ownership groups. I mean, we can start with Steinbrenner, but we can also start with the owner of the Reds when he was the manager there. So, he 23 seasons as a manager for 5 teams. Like, he just, and I know it probably doesn't add a whole bunch of weight, but he also had a pretty solid career as a player, playing 18 seasons, getting 2 rings, a rookie of the year. Like, when you combine that and envelop all that baseball career, playing, managing, he did some broadcasting, did some special advisory role as well. Like, he's a baseball lifer, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and you said 23 years as a manager. I just wanted to do a little quick math. You said also 64 ejections, so that's almost like 3 per 3 per season, which honestly, I think I undershot that. I would have gone a little bit higher than 3.
Well, I think if he's going to get ejected, he's going to make a show of it, which again was probably the thing of like, hey, if you're going to get kicked out of the game, do something outlandish so people are talking about it, and they might show up to the next game or games and see, hey, when's Lou Piniella gonna, blow a gasket again? And I know I've been, I've kind of put this edict of character clause and what you do on the field and off the field. I wouldn't necessarily tie what Lou Piniella did with his, temper tantrums as a, character flaw or something like that. And if anything, I mean, we talk about, making players wait to get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, Lou Piniella's damn 80 years old. Like, he's waited long enough, I feel like let's let him in if we're going to do it.
Let's get a move on it. Yeah. And also with the character clause, I think ultimately people, like, this is a sport, this is entertainment. Like, these folks are doing this for entertainment purposes, for us, for the audience. I've never had any problem with managers going nuts to get ejected. In fact, I kind of miss it that the fact that Kevin Cash is literally Socrates reincarnated with his stoicism. Like, I need fire. I need managers to go and say, I got a whole stable full of guys who throw 98, period. I like that.
Yeah.
I dig that. I want more of that.
And I think part of it too was, not just hamming it up for the pride and happiness of ownership, but also, putting a fire underneath the fellow players and coaches of like, hey, I'm really going all out for you guys. So step it up and elevate your game and help us try to win down the stretch. But again, I think that's probably a big, at the end of the day, detraction, because you do have, I don't have all the names of who makes up this voting committee, but there's a decent number of former managers, execs, and umpires on the list. And, I just think some of those rough ups with umpires and media probably, dissuades thing a little bit. But I mean, I would find it hard to believe that I would think at some point, he's eventually got to get in. And just going to get a little bit further. So he's got 1,835 wins. Of the 16 managers with more wins, 12 already in the Hall of Fame, and 3 others that are going to be going: Dusty Baker, Bruce Bochy, and Terry Francona. Gene Mauch, he's the only one with more wins not in the Hall of Fame because he had a losing record. Lou Piniella doesn't have a losing record, 1835 and 17 and 13. So just wanted to throw that out there, and not to go too much in on Lou Piniella. Of course, he was the manager of the Devil Rays back from 2003 to 2005. But I think the story of born in Tampa, going to Jesuit High School, University of Tampa, he was really one of the beginning of a long line of talent from the Bay Area, and more specifically that historic Tampa area as well. So
yeah, no, awesome, and hopefully I'm with you. Hopefully one day he gets inducted while still with us.
Yeah. All right. Let us know what you think about Rays attendance, if you think it'll go up or down in 2024, and Lou Piniella, whether he should or should not be in the Great Baseball Hall of Fame. Hit it up in the YouTube comments and chat. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.